Hey folks, Kevin here. Well, it's October 9th, 2018, and recently I posted a video removing the stump out here on the patio area where I'm standing right now near Pond 4. And I'll put a link in the upper right hand corner to that video. Before that video took place, one of the things I did do is I came out here, and what we had was this glorious maple tree that provided shade to this whole concrete patio area here, and we created sort of a U-shaped patio around it so we could come out here, sit down and relax, and hopefully when we have groups of people coming here, it'd be a nice place, a gathering place, so we can sit down and have outdoor classes as well. But anyways, this spot where I removed the large maple tree from, I went ahead and compacted down the soil after removing the maple tree and got it ready for doing a transplant. So I took one of the Japanese red maples that's a burning bush over there right now, the red one that you see. But I took one from near where that is, around the pond, and decided to put it here in this location right behind me here. And there was a bit involved, because when I dug down in this area, we had all of these different weeds. We had pokeweed, which really has tremendous root structure. There's actually about a 4-inch in diameter root that goes underneath the concrete patio on that side as well. So I'll have to keep an eye out when that starts sending up a plant. And I really wanted to keep this clean and simple, because before we had hostas, we had some ferns in here around the maple tree, and I can't remember what else was there. Oh, we had a couple of vining plants as well to go up the tree, and things just got completely out of hand with all the weeds. And so I used the excavator. In that video you could see I was teasing out or digging out the hosta plants. So yesterday I came out and transplanted this Japanese red maple here. So I excavated out the hole, amended the hole with some compost, put compost around the perimeter of it, and built the soil up well above the concrete level. This will all consolidate over time, and I'll put some GoPro footage in to show just what I had done with the whole steps after getting the tree set here. So I took the soil and mixed it with compost and pushed that right up against the root ball all the way around. And I didn't wrap the root ball, I just carried it over here with the excavator. And since this is transplant time of year, spring and fall, I'll try and shoot some video of me moving some other trees and talk about some of the aspects of transplanting trees as well. So that hopefully will come up in a future video. So I went ahead and packed the soil all the way around the perimeter and made sure that the root ball was higher, significantly higher than the level of the concrete, about 6 inches higher than the concrete level itself. Then I went ahead and I put wood chips right around that compacted root ball mass, and it would look like I was doing volcano mulching at the base of the Japanese red maple. In other words, building up compost up the trunk of the tree. And I did, but it was just temporary, because I knew I'd be pulling that over the compost that would come next. So I put a ring of wood chips all the way around the root ball, and then I added a ring of compost around the outer core of the wood chips. Then I went over and teased out all the weed roots that I could out of all of the hosta plants, and I planted and I trimmed the tops off the hosta plants, and I created a ring all the way around the base, the root ball of the Japanese red maple in that section. Then I went ahead and I pulled that volcano mulching down away from the trunk and just covered up the compost some, and then added another ring of wood chips all around that. So now the original hostas that were planted down there that had the tops cut off now had wood chips between them and the root ball of the Japanese red maple, and there were wood chips on the outside, and there were wood chips on the top. So that should really help those roots really take off well. There's enough carbon there, but there's also all the other nutrients and the microbes in the compost, not only with the root ball mass of the Japanese red maple, but also with the hosta plants as well. So once I got another ring of wood chips all the way around that original set of hostas, there are two angle areas here, 45-degree angles. One's where that turtle bench is, and the other one's right over here on the other side here as well, where I'm standing. I went ahead and made two more compost sections that were basically the length of that area where the bench is. And I didn't want any of those plants to come right out here to the concrete edge. So I put another layer of compost on the outside of the wood chips there, planted more hostas there, did the same thing right down in this area here, which you can't see. And then I put wood chips all the way around and brought it up pretty high. So a couple of key things that I would say with mulching around a transplant and all, it's always good to put lots of mulch around it, but be careful not to be putting too much mulch up around the actual root ball, up around the trunk of the tree at all. Wood chips in this part of the country hold tremendous moisture. Down south in very arid environments, there's a chance that you may be bringing in some not helpful insects, such as termites and all, or ants. So I would say, in general, one of the things I've seen when I've driven around, I've seen lots of what I call volcano mulching, really building up the wood chips high on the trunk of the tree. I think it's really good to have the wood chips pretty darn deep. Oh, there goes the drone and the chaser plane. I think it's really good to have really deep mulch on top of your transplants when you're putting them in, but right around the trunk of the tree, you want to keep that a little bit protected. I put these arbor guards around the very base of it as well when I'm putting in these transplants. That may help, it may not. A lot of people put them in for weed whacking. That isn't the reason that I'm putting it in. But I can move those around pretty easily and make sure that there's good airflow and it's not making tight contact and maintaining moisture up against the tree and encouraging rot. So there'll be some GoPro footage of after I got the Japanese red maple planted, the process of doing the wood chips, the compost, and the hostas, planting those, and then the final layers of putting in the wood chips, and then I watered it down pretty darn well afterwards as well. So that's what this video is going to do. I'll try and post some more videos on some of the other trees that I'll be transplanting. I've got a couple that I'm going to try and transplant today. All right. 2 points that I would say that are important is when you're doing the transplants, try to make sure that you're checking them for you're bringing in problems, bringing in weeds, weed roots or weed seeds, so that you're not having to use chemicals or other issues to control weeds around the base of these trees. When you're using materials such as wood chips and all, make sure that you're paying attention to, geez, are these aged wood chips that have been sitting in someone's pile where weed seeds are blown in or weeds have been growing and the roots are extending out into the wood chips and you're bringing in more problems? So those are just a couple of things to think about. And the other thing is, don't put your mulch so deep up around the trunk. Try to pull it back a ways as well. Make it easy to be able to water, but I would say having your trees up where the roots don't get saturated, they don't get waterlogged, is really important as well with your transplants of these trees. Well, if you found this informative, please give us a thumbs up. Ask any questions, leave them in the comments below. I really appreciate it. It helps me to really focus in on what things I should be talking about around here as we're going through our daily processes. Share it with your friends. Hit that bell icon if you want to be notified when we post more videos. And certainly, folks, have a super fantastic day. Bye-bye now. you.